Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Glad to be back on the Branded podcast.
Yeah, 2017, man. Made it to the other side.
Big shit pop.
Hey, there you go.
It's good. Good to be back. We had a little bit of a hiatus. Why is that? Why have we had a hiatus?
It's been a rough holiday season as far as, getting people scheduled, especially since they're busy with their own brands, obviously, and dealing with family for the holidays and travel and all that stuff. So we decided to, just take a break for a minute and not try and press anybody to come on, but, enjoy the time with our families as well. So
yeah. How was your holiday, by the way?
It was pretty good. Went to spend Christmas with my aunt. Well, Christmas Eve at my aunt's. So it's also my little cousin's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she got a lot of
Double
gifts.
the gifts?
Yeah. Gets to open
cool.
some gifts early. And then on Christmas, went to my grandmother's sister's.
Cool.
For Christmas, had my first seafood Christmas dinner, which was interesting. So, had some fish, some shrimp, crab cakes.
That's right down my alley.
Yeah.
As a pescatarian, that's the only thing I can have on for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for catfish. That's what I have.
Right.
Pretty much every Thanksgiving. So that sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was something different than, the usual turkey and all that. So.
Right. I also had a good amount of banana pudding.
Okay.
I spent my Christmas...
I enjoyed banana pudding.
Yeah, me too, man. But it has to have a right amount of vanilla wafers. It has to be so many vanilla wafers that you choke on it. If you get too much, it's like it has to be a lot of vanilla wafers to soak up all of the banana goodness.
Yeah.
But I spent my Christmas in two places. The morning I spent in North Carolina with my girlfriend's family, and then after she went to say hello to her family and stuff and exchange gifts, drove to Baltimore and had Christmas with my family too. So
that was rough.
Busy, man. I fell right to sleep the next day. I was knocked out.
I bet.
I was knocked out.
Yeah, and then New Year's actually went down at National Harbor for a few days and went to the Wyndham, stayed there for the first time. Been to almost all the hotels down there. We either go down there like New Year's or randomly during the summer.
You excited about the MGM down there?
I actually went into it. It's huge.
You went into it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
It's nice, though. I enjoyed it. It was my first time going to an MGM, so they give you a $10 credit once you register and, get your playing card.
Oh, wow.
And just played a few slots.
Cool.
Probably like $15 of my own money, and then the $10 that was...
What area is that considered? Is that considered Virginia?
No, it's actually still Maryland.
Still Maryland?
Yeah.
I hear that they're gonna have some UFC events there eventually. Really? Yeah, man, it's huge. That's exciting.
Yeah,
that's cool. So yeah, the podcast is strong. The brand is still strong. We're going on. It's just we had this. What we consider that first chunk of podcasts. The first season? What are we?
I think we're at the mid-season point. What are we, like 7 episodes in?
Right.
I think we'll do like a 12 episode season.
Okay.
And, I think what it is we'll take some time off just to get some more consistency with you guys, and probably record a few episodes, and then make sure you guys get content every week instead of having these gaps for you.
Yeah, and then it'll get more consistent as we have more guests. It's just it takes a while. So just for the listeners, having a podcast that's guest-based is difficult just because people may want to do it, but it's lining up the schedules. Just to give you an idea of what we do. What do you do on a weekly basis? Let's give a glimpse into our lives.
Well, actually, I have a quote-unquote day job, so I go to that. I actually get up early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, go to work, and then, in the afternoons or, during the day, I try and hit guests up, get in contact with them, stay on top of everything that I got going on for Debonair Material, and then, it gets to the point where, either they're ready to go or they have something that come up and they need to reschedule, and then, pretty much kind of the same thing for you, right?
Yeah. So... All right. I do I have another podcast. I have a movie podcast.
Yeah.
That involves some movie viewing. So I do that. I do stand up a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
I'm also involved in a couple video projects I'm working on. So, and there's other stuff. I don't want to keep layering going. I don't want you to think I'm that sort of person. But there's other things going on creatively.
Right.
And so what that does is it kind of narrows the days that I can record down to maybe one day during the weekday, and then definitely a Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sunday I thought would be a day that people could do stuff, and people normally can. Yeah. But it's lining up with people's schedules that is the most difficult part. But when we have it, obviously we get some magic out of it. We can do it. It's just we've been streamlining the process a little better. We've been kind of talking to each other and figuring out that there's a certain level of aggression that you gotta do, and then also like I'm used to falling on my ass a lot, like through stand up, and I think that as a creative, you gotta kind of get used to the idea of constantly falling on your ass, because it's not a loss. Right. Even if you have to put yourself out there a little more than you thought you would, and maybe sweeten up a little bit of language, a little nicer than you normally would. Yeah. Put on a little bit, it's a part of the process. That's how you reel people in. So I'm used to it, but I also in this arena it's different. It's different. You know what I mean? So,
and that, I think that's kind of been what it's been for us, and then the level of guests that we're trying to get. Some people they're actually working on movies right now, so working on them trying to get their scheduling down, and them not wanting to put out information too early. So
it makes sense.
Kind of being respectful of other people's creativity as well. So
yeah, and so I have a similar situation where I had a guest that was gonna be on, and then he got a little nervous about the idea of like what that entails, and then he backed out. Now he's back in, and he'll be here soon, and it's gonna be dope. Yeah. And I think that what it all comes down to is nobody wants to have one of those like junket interviews that's very generic and boring, and we're the furthest thing from that, I think.
Kind of getting feedback from all our guests, they kind of feel the same way. Like after they actually sit down and talk with us and do the podcast with us, they feel like we actually understand where they're coming from, like whatever their field is, whether it's music or art or something like that. Because we're actually creative people too. We understand them. We're not just giving them basic formatted questions.
Yeah.
I think we structure our show a little bit different than
I think so too.
Shows.
And I think there's something to kind of the art of, and we've been talking about this a lot lately, not necessarily doing a lot of research, because you don't want to have answers for everything. You don't want to be like, well, in 2006 you did this. Explain that. Like you want things to come out organically.
And most of the time they've answered those questions already.
Yeah,
so.
Without even we'll ask them a basic question, then they answer two of the questions that we had queued up. So it's been really nice. The feedback's been really cool. Thanks a lot for all of the feedback. Email us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, email, comment on SoundCloud, YouTube. That really helps with us as far as, ratings, getting exposed to new people. Share the podcast, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Absolutely.
I think that's, going to help us. And, your guys' feedback, it really helps us tailor the show to what you guys are looking for and what you like about the show and things we need to, maybe tweak. So,
yeah. So, Beya Likhari, man.
Oh, all right. So what we decided to do is kind of sit down and give you guys a long format between us two, because we haven't done that yet.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even say what we were doing.
Yeah, we kind of just jumped into it. So, it's the top of 2017. So this will kind of be like I guess a midway.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Of 2016, best of 2016, welcome to 17 episode.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about this, I kind of had that like old school tune, like you are 16 going on 17. That was in my head, so I don't know if that's what the title's going to be or what, but that's kind of the vision for this, and I think it'll help you guys get to know us a little bit better and hear us go back and forth.
I think it reminds me of like, you watch, I mean, this is such a weird reference, but when you watch Empire and there's like the mid-season break, this is the mid-season, this is the exciting part that leads to the second half. Lucius just got shot in his foot, and Cookie just got kidnapped. That's the equivalent of what this is. Yeah. So,
I guess you could say we took a mid-season break.
Yeah, I mean, look, the holidays suck, and it's hard. Yeah. I mean, the holidays suck in the way of getting guests.
Yeah, and that's what it really was from Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like when we started recording, actually. So,
yeah. I mean, it's cool that. We have a general idea of some of the next guests, so that's pretty cool. So,
Then before we get into that, the other thing I wanted to mention was, as far as Debonair Material, actually kind of rebranding the media portion of it. So instead of doing Debonair Radio and Debonair Material TV, we're going to do Debonair Material Media. That'll incorporate everything, so it'll be original audio and original video, instead of trying to create so many different platforms.
Get out of here. Yeah. So you mean to tell me, instead of several platforms, you have one platform that will embody all of these things in one place?
Going through Streetwear Master last year, that was put together by Virgil Abloh. That's kind of how it actually pushed me to start this podcast, and, talking to you about it and going through that whole process. In the midst of that, I was kind of like, people that are creatives, they need a platform for themselves and everybody else, kind of a community, because that's what builds your audience. Having a community of other people, other creatives, having a team basically of, sharing information, putting information on that platform. And a lot of people are either afraid to, venture into doing certain things on their own because, one, they don't know how to do it, and two, they're, kind of afraid of being out there on their own. So I kind of want to give a house for everybody to, do that. So if you have like short films or, commercials or anything like that, you just want a place to put your stuff out, please hit me up. You can email me personally, or you can email the show. Mine is Donte Cotton at debonairmaterial.com. Or a podcast, I'm in contact with a few people that are interested in doing some shows. So I kind of want to get them up hopefully by the second quarter of this year and, get them started and actually start building the network. So Debonair Material Media. It's already a page on the website, debonairmaterial.com. That's just our show on there right now. We're kind of like the flagship of this this whole thing, which I think is pretty cool.
That is cool, man.
Yeah, and I still got the brand, so you can get some shirts, anything like that. Yeah. So it's been going well so far. I've got the show on a lot of different platforms. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, TuneIn, a whole bunch of things. You know what I actually found out?
What?
There's a TuneIn app on Xbox.
Really?
So you can listen to it on your Xbox if you want to.
Why are you doing stuff?
Yeah.
Why are you dunking on somebody?
And then iHeartRadio, we're on that as well. So if you have like a smart screen in your car, those usually come pre-built in now if you have a newer car. So you can pretty much listen to us anywhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I wanted to say something real quick. I'm getting into something I've never done before. I mean, I've done podcasting for a while, and I'm getting into the whole like video thing, like audio. So just to give you some background, I have an IMDb credit to my name.
Crazy, man. I was so excited when you told me that.
Yeah, it's silly. I did this cool micro budget Christian-based film where I play like a villain, basically.
Yeah.
And it's on Amazon Video, and I think they're thinking about distributing it on Netflix and stuff like that. But right now, it's on Amazon Video. So if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. If you don't have Amazon Prime, it's like $4 to rent.
Yeah.
It's called Joseph's Epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get into some writing and filming stuff.
Right.
Which just to get into the whole creative process, I think that the first rule of being creative is don't think, just do.
Yeah.
I think there's too much planning out, and I think that, while I encourage planning, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I let it fly, man, because what that does is you have a thing to look at that you can compare to what you had an idea about, right, and then you can make the changes,
right,
as opposed to thinking about it forever and never doing it.
Yeah.
I just go out and do every single thing that comes in my head. I mean, and everything doesn't work out forever. Right. But a lot of the things that I've kind of put myself out there to do, I'm still doing. I've been doing for a couple years. So
right.
If I could say anything as a creative, I'd say do that shit. Don't think about it.
Yeah. Don't
plan too much. Don't say you got to get a better mic. Do it. I know some girls that are about to, women that are about to record a podcast on a phone.
Wow.
It's going to work because they're funny, and eventually they'll get a better mic.
Yeah.
That mic becomes a studio.
Right.
That studio becomes a sponsorship. And it just works from there. So
and then that's the thing. Like, people really enjoy good content.
You do.
Like, the quality can come later on. Like, you have to keep that in mind.
Right.
But,
Absolutely.
If you put out good content, people will like your stuff.
Mm.
And I think that's kind of what we learned from doing this. Like we've also, as far as the production side, we've gone through some challenges with it, but
yeah, absolutely.
You know, people still listen and enjoy, and you know, tell us that they like the show, and you know, don't get too many complaints about the audio, but you know, when we do, we try to make sure we stay on top of that and get it corrected. But you know, just putting out good content, I think that's the important part of what we do.
Cool.
As far as the show, like, how do you feel about it? How you feel from before when we started and to this point now?
Well, you know, I'm a let it fly sort of person, so I was happy about just getting into a situation where we were just creating something together.
Yeah.
But now that I'm doing it, I'm real hopeful because I like the way that it's been so far, and I think it's just a matter now of getting guests and you know maintaining some consistency and finding all sorts of getting more women. I think that we need to find more women.
True. We have been trying, ladies. It's not like we were forgetting y'all.
Yeah, specifically minorities that are doing well. Because I think we will have all sorts of guests,
right?
But there's something very important about seeing minorities that are doing well or have creative ventures that are just as good as any other, you know, creative outlet. I think it's important. And especially since this year, Hidden Figures came out in 2017 at the top of the year. Seeing these three women that worked at NASA and did all these creative things that happen to be black, these human computers, I think it's just get me in this feeling like we need more minorities represented in these creative spaces.
Right.
And I think that 2017, you will see, I guarantee, you will have some minority women guests.
Definitely.
On guaranteed.
Yeah. And that's part of what we were talking about before, you know, just getting guests on. Some of them are really busy. Some of them are bi-coastal, so they're going back and forth. And, you know, try and catch them in town. But, you know, if they have clients or, you know, whatever they're doing as far as their business, they might not have time to sit down with us, which we understand. So, you know, when they get on, we'll share it with you, let you know. And hopefully you'll be excited about it and enjoy it. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I kind of wasn't sure how well this was going to turn out. It's turned out better than what I thought it was going to be. Like I had this you know grandeur idea of bringing, you know, people on, having conversations with creatives and, you know, kind of sharing their stories and inspiring people. But this is actually working out, and it's turned into something bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I'm excited about that. And as far as us, I think it's helped as far as our communication, because we talk every day now.
Like
even if it's not about the podcast.
Like 50 times a day.
And we like, you know, rapid fire, shoot stuff to each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm appreciative of that. But yeah, man, and you know, just gonna keep working on this and keep trying to expand and keep you guys excited about what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I was thinking? If you guys have products that you want to talk about, email us. If you a cool product that you have yourself, or
we mentioned that before. You know, we'll give you a little branded stamp.
Yeah, please, we'll try it. We'll listen to it. If it's a piece of music that's not too crazy, maximum 2 bitches a verse, bro. Maximum. You cannot, you know what I'm saying? If you have some good music, put that out there.
No boondocks, booty butt chicks.
So it's the idea of this podcast is not only to talk about people and their creative process, but also welcome people who are, you know, want to put their stuff out there. That's important. So.
Since you just said that, it reminds me. So I don't know how many episodes you've done it, but it's funny every time I kind of crack up on the inside when you say welcome, like after I do my intro. It's a very specific way that you do it. Like if I can find all of them, I'll try and put it in here right afterwards.
Welcome.
But yeah, I guess we'll go through episode by episode and just, you know, kind of recap what we,
cool.
You know, our favorite moments. Before we get into that, what do you been working on for 2017? Anything lined up? Any shows or anything?
So the ACLU. Look up what the ACLU is, and I don't want to explain all of it right now. But the ACLU, is they started, because Trump got elected,
Yeah.
has a a festival called the What a Joke Festival to raise money and awareness on politics and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm going to be January 18th at the Metro Gallery. I think it's like 15 ahead. There's going to be a great show. It's 3 days in Baltimore. It's actually all over the country.
Oh, wow.
But I got chosen for the Baltimore chapter.
Okay. I'm
going to be telling some jokes. I'm not headlining, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to make my presence known. So I've been doing this thing, right? So sometimes there's two coveted positions when it comes to like comedy shows. There's a feature and then the headliner. Sometimes I feature, sometimes I headline. I'm doing neither. So what I do is I do a set that's so good that I scare those two people. Okay. I like to scare the feature. I like to scare the headliner. I like to outdo these people.
Right.
It's very important. It's cool because it makes you stand out. Yeah. Like people are like, yo, the headliner and the feature were good, but that motherfucker, what, wrong? The dude just doing the cartwheel, James? Cartwheel and clothesline a chair. Like it's just really. I'm trying to do this thing now where like I'm just living in this truth and talking about things of all kinds and so yeah, that's probably the next thing that I can think of. The ACLU, the What a Joke Festival, and then there's some other stuff coming up, but nothing solidified. I have something in March at Towson University too. Their Black Student Union has gotten a couple comics. I don't know. I don't have a concrete date for that.
Right.
But that sucks because I'm going to be in London at some point.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. Yeah. So, but those are the two dates, March-ish, and definitely January 18th. It's going to be some really funny people there.
Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll post everything up if you follow Debonair Material. You know, make sure everybody's abreast of all the dates that we got going on as far as some stuff. Because I do have some events planned for this year, and I'll inform you guys when we get close to those dates. But kind of still planning things out, so I don't want to spoil anything too early. I'm a big proponent of not saying anything until it's concrete.
Oh yes, I got a lot of random things that are just lingering, and I don't want to talk about too much because
it's the same reason I'm kind of hesitant on saying where our guests are going to be, because we have some pretty good guests coming up, but because of their schedule, I don't want to say we're definitely going to have them on, and that you're waiting for like 6 months and you don't hear from them yet.
Yes. So. I'm excited. Well, I'll say this. I'll mention that I think that this new set is going to be very different than the first set, but I think that we'll have equal parts good stories and we'll have everything. So this is also going to change too. We have everybody from a director to a musician to like a skincare line creator. So like it's getting real. It's getting real. We're gonna capture these stories. We need to tell these stories.
And what's so cool about these people is that thing that he just named that they do is not the only thing that they've either done or are doing at the moment. They do a lot of stuff.
Right.
And then they have like a lot of different stories as far as, people that they've met and, places that they traveled. So I think that's gonna be dope.
I feel bad that we're being so vague about this. It feels very, very like trailer for. It feels like a punishment this episode, but we appreciate it.
Oh yeah, sometime I guess within the next couple months or next few weeks, we're going to be featured on Lipsyn's podcast. We did their Rocky Lipsyn podcast, so we submitted some content for that, like a 5-minute block.
We should play that once they get it out. Mm-hmm. We should play that portion at the beginning or something at some point.
Yeah, we'll find a way to make sure you guys hear, and then we'll share the link to the full podcast so you can listen to it. It was fun though. That was kind of like a moment for me as far as our show though, because we did like a 30-second promo for it as well, and I think we did it in like 2 takes and we freestyled it, and it sounded like super professional. Everybody I sent it to loved it, so I was excited about that.
That's cool, man. We got a good thing going, and I'm happy that I'm here doing it with you. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
Definitely. All right, so episode 1.
Go over these quick things. Give some quick thoughts.
Yeah, let's do that. Episode 1.
Man. Jordan Jackson.
Yeah.
Man, Jordan Jackson is one of the coolest people I've ever met. He has this calm to him that
Definitely.
It's crazy how somebody could be naturally as cool as he is and still be as enthusiastic about things and not seem. You know who he reminds me of? Common. Not Common has this thing to him where he's like real cool, but he's not afraid to tell a story that has him embarrassing himself or something like that. I like that about him, man. And I think that Jordan has a similar sort of vibe to him.
Right.
He's a real positive person.
But I remember I almost got put out the program, out of the FIT program. Yeah.
Wow.
The professor pulled me and another one of my classmates into a room after, it was like probably after our first semester. And I know he was telling me like, you know, you got the art skill, you can draw, but like you need to learn how to sew. Like your sewing is not good, you know, like your stuff is falling apart, it looks raggedy, you know. And I'm like, I've never sewn before. Like this is my first time like sewing anything, so like it's gonna be crooked. You know what I mean? But you know that was like a little fire under me to like, all right, you know, focus in, try to learn how to do this sewing. You know, like I didn't really like to do it at the time, but you know, just because I couldn't do it, I wasn't that good at it yet. You know, but I started to keep practicing and getting better with it, and was able to finish the program out. Like, if I got put out, I don't know where my life would be today, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I don't think it's stopping. The train has just begun for him, man. He has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think what stuck out to me was his worldview. You know, talking about going to Africa and, you know, telling us about Africa. It was something that we didn't know about. So, you know, listening to him tell that story, that was, you know, definitely interesting for us.
Yeah.
So, what future plans, man? What are you looking at? What are you looking at in the future? Outside, so that we transition, you know, we know what you do professionally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Outside of it, what are you pursuing? What's the future looking like? What do you have planned?
yeah. So, man, future plans, they're high. I got like a lot of like huge things I would love to do. I think I know Africa's in the future for me somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, I want to get out there.
Yeah.
Do more traveling there. Possibly move out there. You know, I think that would be cool.
Right.
And just to experience what's going on out there. It's like a lot of really cool things happening coming out of Africa, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like
you got anything you can kind of throw at us? Because like I'm not really sure.
I look at like so you know, Questlove has like the OK Player site,
right?
So he has OK Africa as well.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so they push out music.
Holy
from
shit!
there.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, check that out. Check that out, yo. Yeah, check that out. So like, music coming out of there, they highlight art, you know, actors, films, like all kind of stuff. So it's like Africa is almost like a dark shadow all the time, right? You know, like that's how it's presented. Like it's like what's going on over there. But then you start to like, because we got technology now, you can look online and find like all kind of stuff coming out of there.
Absolutely.
So it's just like a lot of art, a lot of design agencies and stuff over there, a lot of clothing lines, a lot of fashion, a lot of music, a lot of food, a lot of all that, you know? So, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Open my eyes, man. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
And then just his inspirations, they're, you know, abstract as far as, you know, names that you wouldn't normally consider or, you know, think about. So he told some good stories in his episode.
Cool.
Where do we go for episode 2? Beya.
The most popular podcast of all the ones we've done.
By far.
Her following is nuts, by the way.
Just on SoundCloud alone. Probably by the time we put this out, it'll be either at or over 500 plays. So
Jesus, man.
That's a good milestone for us.
Yeah, and I think we brought, you know, talking to people who know her, still haven't gotten some of the things we got out of her through this podcast.
Right.
Some of the pieces of information, some of the insight into what she does and how she thinks. I think it's something pretty amazing about what we captured in that little bit of time. She got super comfortable. She was lounging. Like, all right, man, we gotta talk her, man.
Yeah. And I think that's one of our strengths, just having people come in and relax and just be themselves and not feel so professional in interview. Like, you know, just relax. It's a us talking. It's not, you interviewing for a job or anything,
Yeah.
And then I was, going through and I see stuff tagged acid R&B. Is that something that you coined or?
I kind of coined it.
So it's like acid rap, but acid R&B.
But it's also like acid jazz. Like acid jazz is a thing too. So acid R&B being basically what I told you as like jazz and hip hop and electronic fused with R&B.
Okay.
But I don't even know if that's like, I feel like there's another term out there for that already. I don't know.
I haven't heard too many things
I'm weird
like
about terms like that.
Right.
It's just weird.
It sounds like defining, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's something really cool about you having an idea of what you want some of your stuff to sound like, and kind of defining it through a term, because it can be yours. It can be yours. I don't know if I've ever heard a combination of all of those genres fused together with the influence that you have. So I mean, it's really cool that you coined that term, and that's really cool that he noticed that.
Yeah.
I want to put something out there. I think in season 2 we should have an update episode with her.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's how she's doing, man. Because I think that by the time the second season comes out, which is going to be like, a couple months from now, I think she's going to be out of here.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy was right after we did our episode, she opened up for Magic Jordan. So,
they make incredible music.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Seriously. So, really happy for her.
That's good, man. Then where we went, we had Harrison Davis. For Rent Shoes, owner of that shop and, creator and designer. That was, a very business informative episode for us. Yeah. He talked about a lot of different things as far as, being a part of the community, doing his research and, learning Baltimore, because he's not from here. Yeah. He's from Boston. So spent some time here before he even thought about opening a shop and, finding what Baltimore missed and making sure he was a part of the community and making sure he bring in local artists and local designers and building his rapport that way. So how did you come up with the name for Rent? Because that's pretty cool.
That's something that still confuses people to this day. It's awesome. So we're pushing now at the 3-year anniversary. We redesigned our logo, so it's FRS now. Right. And we're leading with like FRS when we talk to people. Boston and New York have a lot of sneaker culture. And so a lot of it's also hidden because they have enough consumers there that you can have speakeasy style stores where you have to be in the know to really know where they are, know what door to go through, what alley to be in. So I wanted to bring that big city feel to Baltimore, but also in a way that Baltimore would be able to accept it. This is not a city where you're going to walk into a building that you can't see into. It's just no one feels comfortable doing that in Baltimore. Yeah. So it was like I spent, a couple weekends driving around like, what is so plentiful here that's not going to stick out with all the gentrification and all the bankruptcy side by side in every neighborhood. You have a lot of for rent, a lot of for sale. There's signage everywhere, so you almost don't even look anymore. So I wanted a big for rent sign in the window so people would look past it, but people in the know would still be in that culture where they would be able to find us.
Gotcha. That's really cool. When I went to Boston, I went to Bodega.
Yes.
And that's an amazing shop.
Life changing. I spent 3 days a week there for about 3 years. I lived right down the block, and Oliver, one of the owners, helped me with my business plan. That was one of the first phone calls I made.
That's incredible.
It was like, how does this really start? If you're going to give me the honest approach, let's have this conversation. Yeah. If you're just going to be like, follow your dreams, I don't want to have it. And he really broke down a couple of things about accounts to me that really helped me segment myself and really figure out what I wanted to do in our market.
Yeah. Okay. As far as picking a location as well, how did you end up picking this spot?
So both my parents were in the Navy, so I never lived anywhere longer than 28 months. So I moved constantly. So you start to get very perceptive to your surroundings, figure out how to relate to people, interact with people, kind of create that common barrier. It was really easy after being in Baltimore for, 8 months when I started writing my business plan to figure out what neighborhoods were owned by who frequented what neighborhoods. Yeah. I needed to find one that wasn't owned by any gangs. There's no particular Mount Vernon drug lord. There's no color in Mount Vernon. Right. There's nothing specific to it that makes it dangerous or protected or anything like that. You can walk to it, you can bike, you can drive. And it's also not the most affluent area, but not the poorest, because that's another misconception that people have. It's like, Harbor East is safe, so you should want to be there. Federal Hill is safe. They're also really white, very elitist, and full of people that don't live in Baltimore and don't experience the city.
Right.
You know, so those neighborhoods can be just as uncomfortable for people as, you know, the west side, the east side, you know, your worst blocks. So I wanted a place where everyone could feel comfortable, no matter where you were from.
The biggest thing that I kind of want to mention, hopefully we can help them out. They have sold in 49 different states. They have one left that they haven't sold in. I'll put the clip in here so you can listen to it. And
I'm really looking for someone in South Dakota to purchase something from our website. So we've sold to 24 countries and 49 states. South Dakota
That's the last one. Please buy something in South Dakota.
I'm trying to get on the street. I'm going to bust someone out there just so they can order something. Like, apparently no one there wears streetwear. Every other state we've covered. So I think once we can knock off all 50 states, I think that'll be, I'll take the team out for that one. That'll be an exciting thing for me.
Come on, South Dakota.
Please buy something.
if you're from that state, please just give them that last order so they can complete their map.
Cool.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice about Harrison, just through talking to him, is you can meet somebody and think that somebody obviously thinks highly of himself in a good way, like but he does more giving than he does taking.
Right.
And that's an incredible quality to have, especially if you're coming into a town that's so niche in a lot of ways.
Definitely.
Very, close knit.
Right.
It's cool that he took the time out to learn the culture and eased in rather than saying, I'm putting my flag down.
Yeah. This
is us running in this place.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
And we've seen shops come and go with that mentality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this is even local people doing this too. So
Right.
for somebody to come from Boston in a place that has incredible boutiques and to kind of have a blueprint that's very different from them. He could have just mirrored everything in Boston and brought it here.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He even talked about why it wouldn't work because, just the community is different. How people shop here is different.
Absolutely.
So he considered all that.
Yeah.
So
Very smart dude.
Yeah, definitely. And then episode 4, man, Sun Zulu.
Zulu's he's talking about a surprise. We had some interactions with him through text and stuff like that, and I had an idea, and then he just opened up, man. I really enjoyed the energy.
Yeah, all the stories he told, they were good stories. Going on tour with Jay Davy and Blue, and recording in the same studio as Chance.
Yeah,
because he spent some time in Chicago, so that was a really good episode, man.
The Black Sun, that came from, my past influences with Wu-Tang and all that. Like, I really, at that time in my life, I was really, like, feeling like I could take what they did and take it to, like, another level, but make it more personal. So I actually got with another Baltimore artist. We had actually been rapping the whole time together. His name was 810.
Okay.
And he goes by the name McKeldin now, and he's actually in Dallas with Never Satisfied, which is, shout out to them. But, at the time, we decided, let's really do this music. Like, let's really, try our hardest to be as successful as we can be. And at the time, blogs were, like, really popping. So, like, Yo Boys, Ill Roots, like, those blogs were, like, really popping. And this was, like, 2008, around that time. So, like, we were releasing projects and we were trying to get on these blogs, and then one day it just happened. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when that happened, like, everything changed. Like, we started, like, doing shows. We went on tour with other artists like Blue, Jay Davy.
That's crazy.
We did a lot of stuff.
Wow. And Blue's incredible.
So, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did a lot with the Black Sun, but I eventually got to a point where I felt stagnated. I felt like I was trying to be something, not necessarily that I wasn't, but I was becoming something that the Black Sun didn't represent anymore. So, and this is like in 2012. I actually, it was 8 and I, we were on tour. We were on the Under Armour 3rd Rail Jam. And when I got back from that tour, I was like, I can't be in Baltimore anymore. And I kind of went on an exodus, I guess you could say. I went to Chicago and I worked on a project, which, I guess I'll get to later. But I I worked on a project and I saw all the programs that were out there. So in case, your listeners don't know, there's the central library out there. It's called the Harold Thurman Library, I believe. And it's like 11 stories. And in the basement, there's this room with every type of instrument you could think of. It's a booth, a MacBook, and this is 2012 when I went, so they probably upgraded by now. Right. But they had like a nice gold-plated mic and everything. And as long as you're between the ages of 11 and 17, you could use it for free.
What?
Yes. You could use it
that
for
free. That might have been the same place Chance recorded his first.
Actually,
project.
It is.
Okay.
What?
And I found that out later.
Right. That's incredible.
When I saw it for myself, I was like, why is this not in Baltimore? So I kind of started, gravitating towards, youth work. I have a friend out in Chicago. His name's Adam Levin, and he works with the young Chicago authors. He does a lot. There's another MC. His name's Ad too. He's pretty dope. But they just showed me like the path, through youth work, how you can really give back and also like, I don't want to say like benefit, but like you help others and you help yourself.
Yeah.
So like that's one of the main reasons why I came back to Baltimore. And when I got back, I was like, I'm not the Black Sun. Like the Black Sun represented is not what I am anymore. So like the name that came to me was Sun Zulu.
And since we're on that note, we actually have something that we're working on him with. He's going to be doing a music project that we're going to be hosting. So we're still working the details out. We may do a special edition episode for that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we want to host the project, but once we get the details down, we'll make sure to keep you guys informed. And It's going to be some good music, some different music, very eclectic. So check out for that.
Cool.
In episode 5, man, read BMore.
Read BMore.
That was a good episode. It was very different. So that guy, he does wire bombing. So it's a different type of street art. Hangs it up on stoplights and stuff like that, and you can't help but see his work if you're obeying the law, because you have to stop at the light to see it.
Right.
Yeah, he does some other forms of art that he talked about as well, so that was pretty cool. I think the biggest thing from that episode was like all the famous people that he was either doing art for or met through doing wire bending. Like he talked about meeting Tyler the Creator at one of the festivals that we had here, and said he ran into Chance the Rapper before. What was it like meeting Tyler the Creator and showing him the piece that you did?
It was great. I chilled. He was like in a rush, so I only got to hang out with him for like 15 minutes.
Okay,
that's a good amount of time. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. But like around off stage, very different person afterwards. After he performed, like before then, like when I saw him, he was hanging out in the room that I just set up, and it was like him, Jasper, and Taco, like. Just talking, like looking at the art, like touching it, like almost like a little bit.
Oh, no.
I mean, I like you, but don't touch them. They got out, and I was like, yo, like I love your shit. Like I watched Lawyer Squad.
Yeah,
love Lawyer Squad. And he was like, yeah, thanks, man. Like I'll see you after the show. And then Jasper turns to me and is like, fucking hate your guts. And I was like, all right, man. And I just saw Taco just seemed like really out of it, just, like his head up in the clouds. Got out, like he was in the way back afterwards, like holding like sweat rag, obviously like drawn, like whatever, like the adrenaline was pumping through. But he was really cool. Like he actually took time to look at like all the art pieces and see what he liked about him. I mean, obviously, like you got to be probably a different dude if you're going to be that crazy on TV. Yeah. All the time. It's got to be exhausting. You know what I mean?
Seems like it
definitely.
Seems like it will be. His music has gotten so much more introspective.
Yeah. I love his growth though. It took me a while to appreciate him, but I really like him as a person overall.
The album is to me like one of the best albums I've heard in a minute. Like it's solid.
Yeah, and before that, like I got to hang out and I did art with did art for Chance the Rapper.
Really?
Like at Electra. Like
oh wow.
year. Wow. It was before he came out with his coloring book album. And all that. So I got to hang out with him and like Donnie Trumpet.
Yeah.
Who was along like Peter Cottontail and everybody else backstage. Just passing Hennessy bottles and smoking blunts. There was like this point where the fire alarm started going off backstage of was it Merriweather, and nobody did anything. It's like, well, obviously there's no fire here, folks.
Right.
It's just the rappers on the other side of the hallway.
Just being rappers.
Smoke coming out. That's not fire smoke. That is fire smoke.
Hey, look at that connection there. Two people having some kind of connection with Chance. And, a few other people. So, that was interesting about that. Did you have any moments that stuck out to you as far as that episode?
You just hearing about his process, pop culture references and stuff like that. Always good to hear. Yeah. Like I said, the energy from this one was a little different. He was very relaxed. You know what I mean? So it was interesting to hear from his perspective how he goes about doing it, because it's a risky art for him.
Definitely.
They could get you physically hurt by just falling.
Yeah.
And then just going in the middle of the street, endangering your life, going through the traffic and stuff like that. Even if you do it 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I think what he does is really valuable, and I love that he's put these things that pretty much won't come down unless somebody takes a ladder and goes up right. It. So
cool. That was definitely cool. And that was like our first street artist that we've had on. We want to get some more on.
Yeah, hopefully the first of many, man.
Yeah. But it was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
And I think what was funny about that episode and then the Sun episode, just the random connections that we have with these people that we didn't even know about. Like with Sun, you guys kind of had the same story as far as going through school.
Jesus. That was so weird.
Yeah. Like we've never had like
so
that
strange.
type of conversation with these people before this show.
Yeah.
And then even with Reed BMore, like you guys ran into each other before and kind of didn't realize until we sat down.
Insane. Yo, to the point where like I was so uncomfortable with how I was like, man, I know you. Yeah. I don't know where I know you from. I know you. Then figure out I saw him on the top of a crate of a truck. The moving whatever. You listen to the episode. It's really cool when you figure out where I've seen him before. So
then episode 6, man. This is probably like my top 2 episode as well, like that one and Beya. I think it had a different vibe for like it was a good conversation with Beya, but this one, the stories that were told in this one, man, Missile Command stories.
Come on, insane. Like, been my friend for a long time, and I just never wanted to, push the whole idea of like, how cool was it going around with Pharrell and Chad, being in the studio with Chris Brown, and meeting Omarion.
Being able to see him work and see what the Neptunes do is like, it's crazy. And so that was absolutely a lot to take in, and also a great learning experience.
Yeah. I guess what I think about when I think about the production, what I wonder as a person that's tried to do production before is their workflow. I guess what did you learn when you first got into meeting them as as a production duo, or just Chad himself?
Well, I think it's changed over the years in terms of how they work.
Right.
And so just to like reiterate, it was like about 2009.
Yeah.
When I first started being around them, and they had already done all kinds of things,
Yeah, they were already out of this world at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 2009 was like a quiet period for them after
dominance.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was right after like seeing Sam's, right?
19. Well, that's true.
Yeah, so they were still touring as NERD a lot at that point, which I didn't realize until I met them. That
it was right after that.
On the road,
2000
NERD all the time, as opposed to producing for other people, and that's kind of why there was like a lull, because instead of working with other artists and doing the Neptunes thing, it was like NERD. On the road for 2 years straight. They were on the road doing that. And then Pharrell's kind of like resurgence it was a very calculated thing.
Mm-hmm.
That took about 2 years, where he was kind of saying, I'll do all this other stuff, but I want to work. And if I'm going to do this job you're offering me, I also want to have studio time, and I want to have an artist to work with. And so there was a lot of like groundwork being laid. Blurred Lines came out a year and a half after that was made. So these things were very intentional, which it doesn't really show. Like, people probably wouldn't realize it, especially peripheral fans, moms and dads who are like, oh yeah, Pharrell, Farrell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't by mistake by any means, but it took a lot of work.
Right.
But he's always been Daniel Biltmore has always been one of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my life. And I think that what Donte is starting to realize is, with that kindness comes some benefits. Like, we went to what was it, Peter Rosenberg's festival?
Yeah, we went to Peter Palooza. That's actually for his birthday. So we went there, met up with him. Marissa Mendez was there from Marissa Explains It All, and met Peter Rosenberg too. Like, they
Super
all
cool.
Came out, hung by the bar. Everybody's really cool. Had good conversations with them. Really enjoyed that.
Then found out my friend was doing an announcing for the.
That whole experience was crazy for us.
It was strange. You know what it's taught me? And this is the thing that my girlfriend said to me that I ignored. But she was like, you know a lot of people. And I was like, I don't know a lot of people. I know a decent amount of people. I'm going to have to just be honest about it.
Right. That was the weird thing. Like, we've had this conversation too. Like, when we sat down for this podcast, we were like, who can we have on a guest? We don't really know anybody. We were like, well, I do know this person. This person knows that person. And, we sat down. And then even your girlfriend, one of her friends from college, I know her. So, like, it's a really small world.
Insane, man. Insane. So it's cool to hear the connections between things. And have it all play out the way that it does. And what I was thinking too is advice to a creative. Yeah. Make sure that you treat people well. And I know that's a simple thing, but what happens is your reputation is kind of your twin. It represents you when you're not there. It's speaking for you when you're not there. Yeah. People vouch for you when you're not there, because if you're a stand-up person and you're honest with people, you don't have to be the best about things all the time, but this whole experience has kind of taught me that being decent to people has helped me a lot when it comes to spreading, I don't know, this whole like creative bug out and it coming back to reap the benefits, like the Dan Biltmore episode and the weird connection to the next one we're going to talk about. So,
and I think with these last two episodes, episode 6 with Daniel, and then our next episode that we're getting ready to talk about, I think that was like the next level for us, because people got so comfortable with us. Like, they just kept talking. Like, that episode was really long, almost 2 hours, and the next one was like almost 2 hours. Yeah. Like, people really enjoy just sitting down and sharing their stories and talking with us. Right. Like, we even had conversations about editing it down, but we were like, no, man, we want to put the whole thing out.
He was kind of feeling weird about it. He was like, well, I just told me you're gonna chop it up. Like, nah, bro. Like, it was gems in there. This is a man that is experienced. He looks very young, by the way. This guy looks like he's like 25, right? And but has a great deal more experience than we have. Yeah. He functioned in the early 90s, and he's felt the sort of resurgence of everything that was happening with hip hop in New York, and then fashion in New York, and then coming down to Baltimore. That's a little slower fashion wise, right? But the customers are very loyal, right? And once you develop, this rapport with them, you can get them to move a little forward to stuff that's coming out currently in New York. That's currently a thing in other places.
And I think the thing with Fraizer from City of Gods was he's also about the Baltimore community. Like, he came down here for college, but he really experienced Baltimore and enjoyed it, and decided to stay here and build his brand, and started with the brand. So what made you keep your roots here?
Hey, I think that
a lot of people say, you know, you don't get support in Baltimore. Like, that's not true because we got support, you know, early on. Like, people were like, yo, this is nice, you know. I think because we was trying to bring that New York aesthetic here. Like, this is a store in the hood. Or gentrified hood. That it's really nice, you know what I mean? That we didn't just do it with, you know, making it look like you know, shout out to my oil stores, you know what I mean? Like oils and incense. You know?
So many of those.
That's basic, you know, slack shell. I mean, we kind of like put molding in and made it look like a Georgetown in DC. Shout out to Georgetown. But, you know, you pretty much brought that aesthetic into a small shop in the hood, and people were like, wow, you know, that's interesting. So when we did it, it kind of attracted people like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. And then we print 5 designs every week, new designs.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do, you know, like 20 a month, you know, and we want to do 12 or 13 each design. So people were like, wow, hey, every week you're coming out with every week you're coming out with new stuff. So that's more than what the majors do, you know what I mean?
That's incredible, man.
Now we'll do variations of the same. We try not to, like 5 or 6 designs we'll keep repeating because it's so popular. Other stuff we'll probably be like, it's not coming back out, you know, not the same colorway. So we'll keep it a little bit different.
Yeah, super dope. You got an assembly line, man. That's dope. Wow.
And that's kind of like where you guys met. You met at the very beginning of what he does now, right?
Yeah, man. I had a line a couple years ago that I've been getting these really intense, you should be doing this again sort of deals. And I've been kind of thinking about maybe trying to design some T-shirts again. Right. But yeah, I was designing. My stuff was like selling pretty well. And the first shop that I ever got it into was his, City of Gods. Wow. And Fraizer paid me on time. He was always nice about it. Yeah. He always had cool suggestions. It was, I have to thank him, and I never really formally thanked him. Right. It gets me kind of choked up thinking about it because it was such a big deal for me, man. Yeah. Like, because what it did was you see your stuff in one shop and you're like, fuck, it's on racks. Right. I'm gonna go somewhere else and try to get it somewhere. I'm gonna try to sell this shit online. Then I was selling stuff internationally, and it's happens crazy. Really quickly if you work hard, man. It just picks up. People respect good designs. Yeah,
and I guess I kind of have to informally, indirectly thank him as well because seeing you putting your stuff out kind of helped me with starting my brand.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, because like before I even went to college, like I was shooting you stuff, just showing you stuff that I was working on. You were like, what do you think about this? He was like, I like this. Maybe change this. And like over that time, like the next few years, I just kept developing and my sense of style and what I wanted the brand to be, and ended up becoming this and growing into what it is now. So.
That's nuts, man. Yeah. And then paying it forward when we're on the podcast together.
It's crazy.
It's insane, man. The connections. But yeah.
Started selling my stuff locally as well. Actually, For Rent was the first place locally to carry my stuff, which is, cool. And I wanted to have them on because I was kind of at the beginning of that shop. So, similar story. And then, moving on, I actually was able to get the stuff up on Amazon. The men's buyer over there reached out to me. StoreEnvy.com. I became a featured brand on there. And then, building my own website and turning this into a lifestyle brand. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, just to give you some feedback, man, it wouldn't be in For Rent if it wasn't dope. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to For Rent's website right now, and you see the stuff that's on there, and his stuff is...
This is high-end shit that they sell.
It's high-end shit. I'm telling you, man. Like, and for him to look at your stuff and be like, look, I think this is dope. It's local.
And I've seen him... like really dig into some people because I'm always in and out of there. And, people come in trying to show their stuff. He's honest with you. If he doesn't feel what you're doing, he'll let you know. Yeah. And we had a good connection from the first time that we met.
Cool.
One of our future guests. Hopefully I can get her on sometime soon. She introduced us. I went over there, talked to him, showed him my stuff.
For real?
Yeah. And then like a week later, went in there, had a conversation. Showed him the pieces that I had out. He was interested in some of them, and just started carrying my line. And then what was good about that, and what I learned about my brand, a lot of people locally like my stuff. Like people that know me, people that didn't know me, and that's kind of where we built our rapport at, because a lot of people that just happened to walk in there, they knew that I started a brand and saw that my stuff was in there. It was like, oh, you know Donte? Oh man, that's cool that you have it in here. So it kind of worked out both ways for us, like kind of giving him local credit, because people that know me saw my stuff in there, and then me having that opportunity to put my stuff in there and have different people being exposed to it that I don't know.
Damn. That's it's full circle, man. Yeah. It's full circle.
This is the first time that I'm actually talking about this stuff, so I think that's what we're going to try and do going into the future, and I think that's why I wanted to sit down and do this episode, kind of just to give the podcast and give us more of a personality and let people know who we are as people, and not just
that's dope
characters interviewing dope ass people,
Right. And I think that we should keep people updated on our stuff, the stuff we're touching, the stuff we're affiliated with. It's just, but the weird part is like the seeds that you put in creatively, that sometimes they don't happen right when you think. Like with the movie thing, I did it 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago. I was not dating the current person I've been dating. I've been dating her for 2 years. And then didn't think anything of it. And then my friend calls me up like, yo, there's a thing online with your name on it. Get a bio on your
website that everybody goes to find out who plays in what. You're on that now.
You're on that. Now put a bio on there. Get a picture. I gotta put a picture up there. But
so how, is that part like Wikipedia, where you can actually update it?
Yeah. So the deal is, if you're not somebody huge like Brad Pitt or Idris Elba, or whatever. Yeah. If you're not one of those people, you don't have somebody doing that for you.
Yeah, clearly.
So you're connecting the dots. Like you might have appeared in something, but your name isn't attached to it. Right. So it's your job to kind of go in there, make those adjustments. It's just basically what it boils down to.
Right.
It costs. There's a cost associated with it.
Wow.
Sucks, man. Yeah. So I'm gonna try the 30-day trial and put my picture up there. But it's been cool. But like you do something, you put it out there and then it just comes back. I recently had another thing like that happen. So you just make something. Don't think about it. Don't think about the glory of it. Whoops. Hit the shit. Don't think about the glory of any of the stuff you do. If you really, really, really live for the creativity, just getting it out to the masses is what matters, and it'll come back to you. Yeah. It will. It absolutely will come to
100%.
you. 100%. Yeah. It might not come the way you want it to.
Right. Or when you want it to. But
fuck no. It never does. It never does. It's never when you need. It's never when you need rent money. It's never when you need. That's. But could you imagine if you knew? I talk about this all the time. Could you imagine if you knew? And I'm going to use the word blessings. I'm not a super religious person.
Right.
I'm going to say, imagine if you knew when your blessings or your good shit was coming to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You imagine if you knew that. If you knew that, you would conduct yourself very differently.
Right.
You might even stagger it a little bit. Yeah. You might stagger your effort a little bit. So if you're not thinking about it, if you have your head down and you just do the work, it'll come back to you, man.
Wow.
I spend hours and hours in shitty clubs that smell like piss and shit. And I tell jokes to people that sometimes are drunk, sometimes are calling me names, calling me bitches, calling me all sorts of things to get better at a thing just because I love doing it, just because I like people laughing. Or that tends not to happen a lot. People tend not to call me a bitch a lot.
It's not like every week.
No, but it does happen.
It does.
It happens. Like, so I live in a culture of rejection. Right. So like I'm comfortable with the idea of something not paying off right away. Yeah. Like I'm gonna tell you my process. I'll write a joke, right? So I'll go to this place on Monday that I know is a good spot to practice, but it might not be a good night that night. It might be the Monday after a holiday. Yeah. So I'm like ready, eager. I tell a joke. There's 3 people in the crowd. Nobody laughs.
Right.
A drunk man's like, I just fuck my wife, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's my feeling for the next couple of days until I go to the next show to feel a little better, hopefully.
Right.
So it's that's basically how you feel about everything when you're creating. It's nothing. The problem with all the social media stuff is it's kind of glamorized things that shouldn't be glamorized.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, even modeling. I know that sounds crazy, but like, there's a lot of stuff to modeling. If you know a model, if you know a model, a real model, there's some shit to it they don't like.
Like, for real.
Like, for real. Like, having your body openly judged by a person that's taking a picture or a brand that's doing or something. Like, could you...
And, you know, facing outward rejection sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just something you have to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but not live in it. Like, comfortable enough to function,
right? But
not comfortable enough to live in it. Not to live in mediocrity, obviously. But, so, I don't know.
But, you know, it's a good thing. We'll be moving forward, and I'll definitely be attending more shows, and I've been to quite a few.
Look,
all types of different
I got to
spaces.
tell you, man, thank you for going out your way to come to even the shows that you've come to up until this point. It's been dope. I mean, I appreciate the support, and you know, I don't really value everybody coming. So when you come, it's like, oh shit, Donte, I might act extra crazy today. And you've seen some of the shows I've done.
Man,
like
I've been to places where like I'm literally the only person reacting to the people on stage. Like, it was so quiet at one point. I was like, oh, and the person on stage was like, oh, come on, man.
It happens, man. And then you'll come to a show where like the crowd is fucking incredible. Yeah. It's still the strangest thing, man. You tell the same shit. You like, I just told this joke. A girl damn near had a baby in front of me. She was so excited.
Right.
And today, nobody. So it's, you know. Yeah.
It builds your character, though.
It does, man. It makes you. You know what it does, though? It makes you kind of feel like jaded when it actually happens. You're like, it really happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, it's whatever. You know,
but still appreciate the moments, man. Appreciate the progression.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, went through the episodes and you know, talking about what we expect from the show, like. Where do you see it going next? Where do you...
You know what? After we get to a point where the listenership's up there, I'd like to do a live show.
Okay.
Like kind of like a more focused version. I mean, like this is focused, but I mean like, you know, in front of a crowd with that crowd energy, and you know, I live for that shit.
Right.
But you know, with us there asking some good questions, we might get some serious. Even
I have an idea for one, so you know it's not like we're just throwing this out there, but you know it's something that we've definitely been considering doing.
Yeah.
And I think this show has helped me and kind of helped me find my voice and be comfortable with talking to people. And we talked about this the other day, just getting conversations with people and you know getting information out of them for you know being my first time meeting them for some of the guests, or you know never talking to them before I see them sit down in front of this mic with me. And I think that live show is going to you know be the next step for me, because I actually used to play basketball, and
that's a different level.
Yeah, it's a different...
That's different, because you're talking about not only the nervousness of just doing something in the moment, the nervousness of performing and helping a team win and having that's just some whole different level shit.
Yeah.
So
even when I was the best player on the team, it was still a different feeling for me. I wasn't focused on the audience.
Right.
Everybody was focused on me, so it wasn't like me being conscious of what's going on in the crowd. So it's definitely a different experience. Even right now, you know, talking to people online and you know not knowing their reaction, it's a different feeling for me.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm kind of happy you decided to do this with me, because you know doing it by myself would have been a little bit challenging.
Nah, it's cool. I enjoy it, man. Like it's one of the things, like the strangest part about the ideas of yourself is that it's not necessarily true. Like you, or even the idea, like no one ability. I'd rather be a person that doesn't have natural ability.
Right.
Like I'd rather be the person on the team that hustles hard and not the person that basically plays like Kobe out of the box, because that person gets lazy.
Yeah.
That person gets complacent about who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes kind of rests in that.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to go to practice. Well, I got to learn the new place. Yeah.
Talking about practice.
Yeah. So you get used to that sort of mentality. I've always been a person that's been fighting to get good at things.
Yeah.
So I'm all about it. But it might seem now where I'm like, just do it. Like I'm just being dismissive of the scariness of it.
Right.
But nah, I really just mean like as scared as I'm. The thing you have to know about me as a human being is, and my girlfriend's starting to realize this too, is that you ever see that? I think I've kind of mentioned this before. There's a scene in one of the Marvel movies where they ask the Hulk, the guy, the Bruce Banner, how he becomes the Hulk so quickly, basically. Yeah. And the idea is he remains angry the whole time.
Right.
And he just gets a little more angry.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it is. I'm a ball of nervousness. I am afraid of things.
Right.
But my reaction to fear is to fight the fear. And some people are the opposite. They recoil. They get into their shell.
Yeah.
I'm just as scared as you are, if not more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the fear of not doing is scarier than the fear of...
Exactly. Because you always have that what if behind
Yes. You don't want to be 50. I can't.
Man, I could have did this. Or see somebody that you knew that was thinking about doing the same thing or doing it with you, and you stopped because you were kind of scared to take that next step, and they might have felt a little bit, but they got back on and then kind of took off. So, in college, that was kind of one of the things that one of my professors would say to us. I took a painting class, and he was like, you're kind of timid with your art. Just kind of work on it. Just get into your zone and work on it. And what I would do is I would put my music on and just focus on working on that piece. And what he would say is, be scared, but do it anyway. And that's kind of how you have to look at it. Like, if you're not nervous or scared about what you're doing, like if you're 100% confident going out of the gate, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. It should feel. I think there are a couple things that make you feel alive, and some of it is, and one of the things is that form of expression that where you're like, where your brain is directly connected to the art.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where you're plugged into a point where you're just putting it out. You know what I mean? Not thinking so much about the consequence of it. Obviously, if it's offensive, be leery, right? But if it's outside of offensiveness, do it. Yeah. And even if it is offensive, do it.
Yeah.
Because there's
sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah, sometimes it's necessary. Yeah. So,
But as far as what we do on the show, we do have our favorite segment. So I guess we can go back and forth with each other and kind of do that for a little bit.
Okay.
So far, what was your favorite episode?
Damn, it might be a tie between Dan's and Beya's.
Yeah,
just because they're just, those were just crazy, man. Like I felt like we all three of us, whenever we had a guest, were on this connected sort of vibe. It felt like we were in space for a little bit. You know what I mean? So I just got a message saying that one of the people wants to do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did too. I kind of didn't want to stop the show.
But yeah, that's probably my two favorite guests. But okay, so that's not to discount any of the other people.
Right, definitely. No,
I think that that's to say that like those are my two favorites because of how much they let go.
Yeah.
There's something really cool about that. But definitely my favorite two and content. Yeah, so those are my favorite two.
Definitely.
Yeah, just felt right. But the other ones were good. Like I love Fraizer's. I love Harrison. Harrison just felt real like, I don't know, man. He has a good vibe to him.
Yeah.
That I wasn't expecting. And I don't come in with a lot of...
This was your first time actually like sitting down and having
never really had a conversation with him outside of just visiting, right? Yeah. So, and that can be a little like distant because there's so many people in the store. You trying to deal with everybody like, oh, this will look very good on you. Yeah. Not distant, but so much as a little unfocused.
Yeah.
And you don't want to ask somebody that whole life story where you trying to ask for some shoes. Yeah. Like, hey, give me a size 11 and what was your childhood like? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to do that, so...
And it's different, hosting an event or hosting a party and actually just being at a party because you're more relaxed. You can actually sit there and have a conversation with people. You don't have to attend to anything else.
Right.
It's not, a necessity to focus on the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What are your favorite podcasts right now besides ours?
Movie Schmovie.
Okay.
Movie Schmovie.
That's a good one.
I agree with that's my favorite one. Besides this one. The Black Girl Podcast. Yeah. You got me onto that one.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good one. It's someone asked me about it, and I kind of was like, it's kind of like millennial version of The Real or one of those talk TV shows, and it's from a black perspective. So they talk about their issues with their mothers. They talk about current events, TV shows like Insecure, and what they would do in certain situations. And one of the things that you pointed out to me was Scotty Beam from Hot 97 talking about just being a dark girl.
Yeah, that's just something I never knew about her. I mean, like you see these moments where somebody seems a little like angered by something related to race, and you wonder why. And she kind of let us know. I like just finding out things like that about people. Yeah. But I have a lot of podcasts, so I'm gonna try to go down this and not seem crazy. History of the Batman, really, really good podcast. If you don't know, so everybody knows about cartoon Batman and all this stuff, but this is like a dissection of the history of Batman. Really dope. Two Dope Queens.
Oh, I love Two Dope Queens. So that was the one you put me on, actually.
Stand Up. They're coming in January, bro.
Really?
They're coming this month.
Wait, this month?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So we're going, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Alana's gonna be there.
Okay.
Alana Glazer. Bodega Boys, Jesus Amaro.
They just came back with 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
Man, I love what they're doing, man. It feels a little too New York for me. It bothers me how many references to New York, but it's a universal sort of deal.
Okay.
So one of the members of Two Dope Queens has a podcast called Too Many White Guys. I listen to that.
What's that about?
Very good. It's basically like there are too many white people being represented in media.
Okay.
So she tries to highlight other people.
Okay.
She has some white guys on there, but also, there's too many white guys in this creative space.
Right.
Mark Maron's podcast, WTF.
Okay. That's a very explicit podcast to say.
Yeah. Comedy Bang Bang.
Okay, yeah.
Brilliant Idiots.
I have my
mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Premium Pete Show.
Yeah.
Nerdist is my fucking grail right now. They have amazing guests. Taxstone.
Man, so can I just speak on that real quick?
Sure.
I did not like the show when it first started. He was so hood.
Yeah.
But he's gotten a lot better. Like,
he's so good at what he does.
He sat down with Black Thought recently. That was probably
my favorite.
That one. That's probably my favorite to this point. Like it felt like a real professional conversation and interviewing him, asking questions about growing up and just going through the process and being a part of the roots.
Wow.
So yeah, and I don't think Black Thought has sat down and done a podcast with anybody else.
I don't think he really has, man.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool.
And I think the Meek Mill episode, that was a big one for him. I haven't listened to it yet, but apparently a lot of people changed their views on Meek after that episode. So.
It's good. Like I think that you forget sometimes that like it sounds weird, but like he's a street rapper, but you forget that he's like somebody
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A Meek Mill. It's not like and you aren't enemies with that person. You're friends with that person. Yeah. It's like you get a little money, you're happier, you show off your rollie a little bit, which he always talks about.
Always talks about
his rollie, but it's amazing episode. So a couple more. Sorry, Combat Jack.
Yeah. Can we get Meek Mill on one day? Because I kind of want to ask him about
I would
the Rolex
love
thing. I think that's the only question I haven't heard answered. Like, where's your affinity for Rolexes?
I know. Get Up On This. Tiger Belly, which is Bobby Lee from Mad TV.
Okay.
One of my favorite podcasts. Pete Holmes, who has a show on HBO coming out really soon. Yeah. You Made It Weird. That's the name of his podcast. Right. Casey Crew. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. Anna Faris is Unqualified. Have you heard that one?
I haven't listened to it.
Chris Pratt is just chilling in the house sometimes, and they have like conversations with like who might come. Taraji P. Henson will come through.
Wow.
Or they just talk to people. Yeah. A Waste of Time. Lip Service. Beautiful Anonymous. Historically Black. Okay, two more that you must listen to. Okay. Historically Black was so a couple months ago when the African American Museum opened up.
Right.
Washington Post commissioned a couple people to find these. They asked people to submit stories about Black experiences in America, and they got these people to do research on it and tell a story. And then they have famous people doing a narration for the story.
Oh, wow.
The first one is done by Keegan-Michael Key about the lady that was a human computer that appears in the Hidden Figures movie.
Right.
Incredible. Historically black. And the last one, but certainly not least, I think you know what I'm going to say, the Hannibal Buress podcast, yes. Handsome Rambler. So good. He randomly came to a show in Maryland. Like he just
you sent it to me. I was like,
I wish I was there. Yeah. I met him a couple of times. He seems like a really cool dude.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I get to have like a real conversation with him at some point because he's blowing up, man. Yeah. He's in the new Baywatch.
Open up for him one night.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. My friend opened up for him a couple months ago, and he was funny, but I know I could have been funny too. So
you gotta put that energy out there sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about it.
So what are your favorite ones?
You named a lot of the ones that I listen to, so I'll try and go through and I guess highlight the ones that you haven't. So Hot 97, they actually put out their morning show as a podcast after it airs in the morning. Yep. So I'll go back and listen to it. Most of the time they cut out the music, so it's just them, having the conversations and, going through the bits of the show that they do. So, Laura Levin loses and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And Rosenberg, the guru, he sits there and gives out relationship advice.
He's funny, man.
Yeah, and then, if it's like a newer song or, a really popular song, they may leave it and, let it play for like a minute or two.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but, it's a lot of that. What else? He mentioned Premium Pete and all those. I'll name this podcast later. That was one that you didn't name, right?
Oh my God, why not name that? It's just one of my favorite podcasts.
Yes, that's
so good.
Yeah.
I just wish he would stop calling women bitches, bro. I mean, like, look, I get that, like, it's just like a term of endearment. He says it so much. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like, Jesus, you're talking about people at this point. Like,
it was weird. You sent me something earlier. On a YouTube channel. I was sitting there watching some of the videos on there, and one of them was talking about big women versus skinny women, and it was two guys that were from LA, and it was two guys that were from the South. I'm not sure which states, but you could see the difference in how they talked about females.
Really?
One of them, the two that were from the South, they would say women and ladies and stuff like that, and then the guys from LA, it was just bitches. And then they, actually mentioned it. They was like, we don't mean to call y'all bitches. Y'all actually women. We don't know y'all individually. It's just that growing up in this culture, this is the word that we use for the opposite gender. So that's a weird thing
that is crazy, man. It's like, I don't know. It's a little pet peeve.
Letty Set Go, that's another one of my favorite podcasts.
Cool.
That's Letty Martinez, Power 105 in LA. She has her own podcast. She doesn't do it that often. She probably do like 1 or 2 a quarter or something like that.
I forgot the other one.
What's that?
The one, Improper Etiquette.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot Improper Etiquette. How did I forget that? No, okay, so I just looked at my Google Music podcast. That's why they aren't on there. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on Google too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just kind of had to do a humble brag real quick.
Yeah, we're right available. Yeah. Just look us up, Branded Pod.
Trapping Anonymous. That's another one of my.
Yeah, favorites. You told me about that. It's really cool.
They kind of go through, and what he does is he matches their voice and just get people to come on and talk anonymously about their life. So they'll either be like a drug dealer or a scammer, or some people are like dominatrix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very unique podcast, and they have unique stories that they tell about their experiences. A lot of the time, he says before the show starts, for educational purposes, and not to incriminate anybody and all this stuff. Okay. And it actually doesn't. It's actually really informative, because a lot of people I wouldn't recommend anybody else doing this. Because you can, go to jail, or you can die, or you put yourself in, life or death situations that you normally wouldn't have to. And, they talk about the only reason that they still do it because it's hard to go back from, back to a 9 to 5. And it's kind of like being a creative.
Yeah.
Like, once you get into this lane, it's hard to get out and just want to work 9 to 5 and not do anything else with your life. Right. I don't want to, go back to that.
I totally get it. Me either.
Like, I want to design, I want to create, I want to put out, content and, stuff for people to enjoy. Right. So, it's definitely a good process. You talked about Lip Service and Handsome Rambler. I think you named everything that I listen to. So I think I'll stop on that one.
Cool.
Got any favorites that you wanted to throw out there?
Super random. I guess I want to talk about that show Terrace House, man. This is so yo, there's a show that a Japanese reality show that Netflix picked up called Terrace House. That's like real world except in Japan. Mm-hmm. It's so dope, yo. I know it's like reality TV is what it is, but this is a little less like a music video. There's less like editing in it. It's more just playing out stuff. And the conversations are a lot more nuanced, and they have like commentators analyzing the scenes as they go by, and they're really funny. So Terrace House is what I've been kind of obsessing over lately.
I need to sit down and try and watch it.
Yeah, it's a strange show. It's like either you get it really quickly or you don't, but I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Have you watched Chewing Gum on Netflix?
Love Chewing Gum.
You like that too?
Yeah, man.
That was another one that I didn't think I was going to be able to get into, so I didn't really watch it.
It's very slapsticky, but it's really good.
Okay. As far as I don't know if I can put this on my list for 16 because I kind of got heavy into it for 17, but Queen Sugar. That was one of my favorites.
So you got into it?
I did. I just finished the season yesterday, I think.
When you find out the motivations, I mean, not to spoil anything, but when you find out the motivations for why everybody wants to do what they want to do, serve this cause,
man,
like what? I'm never gonna sell this shit.
What else? Power. I enjoy watching that. Mm-hmm. That's a good show.
You an Atlanta fan?
Childish Gambino.
He's taking over.
Donald Glover. Been a huge fan of this guy. He's actually one of the people that I would love to have sit down with us and have a conversation with him, man.
One can only hope. One can only hope. How is he good at comedy and music and acting?
Right.
And it's like it don't stop. It don't stop, man. So.
And he's one of those guys that kind of does his own thing. He doesn't follow trends or try and recreate something that's going on right now. He does his own thing, like his last album.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about the last album?
I thought it was amazing. I loved it.
That was good too. I don't like California. That's the only song I don't like on the album.
Redbone's my favorite song on it.
It's the best. It's one of the best songs I've heard in a really long time.
Did you watch his live performance on it? It might have been Jimmy Fallon.
The shirtless, yeah, man. Like it was really dope. It felt like
with
I was
Lando
in the
Calrissian mustache.
Yeah, he's gonna be Lando Calrissian.
That's crazy. Did you see the picture of him like in the high school yearbook? Like he has a Star Wars T-shirt on.
No, man.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's weird how things.
Yeah. Full circle. Oh man, that's insane, man. It's insane.
Yeah. Insecure. That's another
so
one.
Good,
man.
So good.
I would love to sit down with Issa too, to be honest.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah, and she kind of started in the same space that we're in right now. Starting on YouTube, I guess 9 years ago, and doing Aqua Black Girl.
Yeah,
and
she had Donald Glover on there.
Yeah, ironically enough.
That's insane, man.
And then they're on the cover of Hollywood Reporter together.
Yeah, I'm happy for both of them, man.
Yeah,
I've been supporting them for a long time. I've been supporting Donald since Derek Comedy on YouTube. Crazy comedy group he had with a couple people before Community that was super funny, man. So yeah, it's good to see that stuff. What else am I watching? I'm watching a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to just
watching This Is Us.
This Is Us.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a drama about a family. Mm-hmm. I know that doesn't give it. It's super vague, but it has a dude that played that was in The People versus OJ. Oh God, can't remember his name. Sterling Brown.
Okay.
Who is they just announced is gonna be in the new Black Panther movie.
Wow.
Man, this Black Panther.
Man.
The only person they haven't announced so far is I gotta say this.
Okay.
We gotta get this off my chest, bro.
Okay.
Mahershala Ali.
I was gonna go to favorite actors and actresses.
Mahershala Ali right now, bro.
Luke Cage, man. Luke Cage.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorite shows of 2016.
It's a great show.
So black. I love it.
Yeah, the problem is it came out the same year as all these incredible shows, and it kind of got knocked. I had a show, if you listen to Movie Schmovie, the top TV shows of the year, and it got knocked off the list just because so many things were amazing this year. so many pieces of art. There's Insecure, there's Atlanta, there's This Is Us, there's a British miniseries that came out. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I was really fucking with that just kind of knocked it off the list. But it is incredible, man. As a piece of work, it's one of the best. And then the soundtrack.
Wow.
The soundtrack's incredible. So
yeah.
But Mahershala Ali's performance in that, man.
Amazing.
That's gotten Mo.
Amazing. And then he was in Moonlight?
Yeah, I saw Moonlight.
He was in Kicks. I love that movie. That was a good movie.
Kicks. He was in Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
He was in.
Man, he was working.
He's in a ton of movies. He's in a ton of movies.
Yeah,
he was also in. Did it come out this year? But no, it didn't come out this year. Katniss Everdeen.
Hunger Games.
He was in Hunger Games. He was like one of the main soldiers in Hunger Games. He's been killing, bruh. He's been killing everything he's touching.
Yeah, I love seeing people hit their stride, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, especially when they've been grinding for so long.
Yeah.
The dude, Kofi Sorobi from Queen Sugar.
Yeah.
He was in Kicks too, right?
He was in Kicks.
Yeah. You know, so
great actor, man.
I think he's gonna have another good year.
He was also in Whiplash, bro.
Yeah.
Also in Whiplash.
Yeah.
So he's
I'm excited about seeing young black men getting their time to shine, man.
Get out of here. It's feeling like a good time, and I think the Oscars so white thing it has kind of pushed people. You know, Europe, the European film industry is creating a standard in 2017 where you have to have a black person in each thing that you do. You have to. Yeah. Like it's. I mean, I guess unless it's something like like a story of Hitler, obviously. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a minimum. Mm-hmm. You have to have a brown person in a thing in order to make it. That's crazy. It should be like that. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be in New York and not have a black person in it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like you'll be in the middle of Brooklyn and there's no black people.
If you go to Manhattan, you even see black people. So don't try to play us like it's not black people around. Like, sure, there were less black people in some of the areas I went to, but like in Manhattan, but there are black people everywhere. There are brown people everywhere. Right. There are Asian people everywhere. Yeah. And when are we going to get an Asian lead in something? When are we going to get an Asian lead?
That was what I was going to mention. I was like, they may sneak like an Asian person in there, like an Asian female as a co-star or something like that.
Shout out to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for making the love interest Asian. Oh. He's Filipino.
Okay.
So like, people trying. Yeah. People trying with their racist ass.
Speaking of Master of None, I got into that last year.
So good. Oh my God. I need to rewatch it though.
Yeah.
I love Aziz, man.
Yeah. And on that note, your favorite comedians?
Oh Jesus. Jesus. Michael Che moving up in my list. Did you see his special? His Netflix?
Yeah, I loved it.
Michael Che's special is really good.
From Rosenberg's podcast, Cypher Sounds. He was actually the DJ there.
Yeah, he's funny though. If you have Tidal has his stand-up show, No Small Talk, and he hosts. He does like the first 5 up top, and he's funny as shit, man. Yeah. He's a really funny dude. I want to be on that show so bad. I've been trying to like figure out a way to get in contact with him. I can't, man. It's hard to get in contact with him. So I'm gonna keep trying, and maybe I can be on No Small Talk next year or something.
I kind of want to put that into the atmosphere. I want to sit down with them too.
That would be dope.
Rosenberg and Cypher
together.
Yeah.
Jesus, that would be amazing.
Because Cypher has a very unique story. I think he was just on Premium Pete, or not too long ago, because they did a best of episode and played one of the clips from there. He talked about opening up for Flex, and Flex not wanting him in the booth until he got to know him, and not really messing with him. Then Flex was actually the one that brought him to Hot 97. He used to run the boards for him and turned into what he was doing now, and now he's doing stand up. So he has a very unique story.
Yeah, he does, man. He does. That's just nuts that he's like at the Comedy Cellar now, doing huge shows. Yeah. I'm happy for him, man.
And Rosenberg too, man. He's in ESPN, Hot 97 Morning Show. He's on what? How many podcasts now?
So many podcasts.
Yeah, he does WWE stuff now.
He is one of the main reasons why I've done radio. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like because he's from Maryland. He's a little nerdy. He's a little goofy. And I was like, I'm kind of some of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can do that.
The Branded 10. Did you have a favorite playlist that somebody put out?
I'm pretty sure it's Jordan's. Jordan's is my favorite one.
Okay.
Jordan Jackson.
Okay.
Favorite one. It has so much of what I love. And everything that I love. He's my favorite Branded 10.
I think his and Beya's were really good. You know what? I liked hers because I didn't expect all those like classic hip hop songs.
Yeah, she has
They actually have a similar list. Like it's the same artist but different songs.
Right,
so
right,
it's
right.
similar but different at the
Crazy.
same time.
She likes kicks, loves shoes, has a love for shoes, and loves good hip hop. It's like it's a woman after my heart, man. It's like incredible. So
yeah, you know what? I think we've been talking about it for a while. So I think for this episode, I think this will be a good episode to put out a Branded 10 for us.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Still, I'm excited.
I'm trying to put some stuff that you wouldn't think I would listen to one day. Nothing too wild, but you know, some different stuff that Spotify has up.
I'm gonna just put Tony Robbins' advice.
Just
what you need to do is you need to get back to the basics of yourself and think about your life. I'm just for the whole 10. But yeah, man.
I think we've had a good talk. What do you say?
Cool. Yeah, man. Thank you for this opportunity. It feels good to do this with you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, I'm looking forward to the future of the show, the future of the brand, and you know our individual and collective futures.
Cool.
So end of 2016, welcome to 2017.
Jesus. It's crazy.
Make sure you follow us social media, Deb Material, Twitter, Debonair Material on Instagram and Facebook, debonairmaterial.com. Make sure you email the show, BRNDD at debonairmaterial.com. Leave comments, feedback, ask questions, give us comments, SoundCloud, YouTube. Oh, yeah, we are on YouTube, too. We put the audio up on YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, you know, pretty much everywhere. You know, just
you have no excuse. You have no excuse.
None. And you kind of just went through a social media change, right?
Yeah. Who is Ron James?
Who is Ron James coming?
On Twitter and Instagram.
That was my Mike Jones impression.
I liked it. I liked it, man. The question is, who knows who Mike Jones is that's listening to this?
Yeah. You know he did like a random like car commercial or something?
Yeah, I did. That made me so sad, man. That made me super sad. This made me super sad. But yeah, who is Ron James? And I think the reason I did that was people really, for some reason, didn't understand Unthawed at all. Like there was just like on the
they
way.
Listen to the podcast and listen to him explain it.
Yeah. But who is Ron James? Twitter, Instagram, and I think I'm gonna do a website pretty soon just to kind of have all my central stuff. Amazon, Joseph's Epiphany, rent it. It's only $4. Yeah. Standout performance by me.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, and the What a Joke Festival. Find it in your town. If you're not in Maryland, look for the What a Joke Festival in your town. Yeah. Support it. It's gonna be dope, and they have some really good comics all over the country that are gonna be doing it. The 18th, January 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Right.
So that'll be dope.
This has been a long conversation, man.
Yeah, man.
We kind of just been rolling, but you know.
Yeah, I want some change.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and hopefully you missed this. Hopefully this will alleviate that longing to hear us again.
I hope so.
And you know we'll be back soon.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Peace.